Like Teddy Gray on stuff, Whooshy gives a proper reaction.
And now for something completely different.
Family, Teddy Gray back on some stuff, and today, the one we're checking out is the Plotting You, Forgotten, the official music video. I have the lyrics up in the description of this very video as well, so thank you very much to the guys at Plotting You. Won't lie, introduced to this band through the Mafra cover that she recently put out. We did that, and then a lot of you in the comments was telling me that you've been hoping to see the Plotting You on this channel for a long time, and I had no idea. Hopefully, people actually want to see this though. If they do, that's good. Foreign? That's not good. Ew. I'm conflicted.
Children all escape. This is to the men who wish death upon my name, tried to push me to my grave, swore I'd never fucking
God damn! There is a lot going on. A lot in the vocal production as well. The first part, fantasized about a life, simplified a paradise, nothing good came easy, every love would leave me. Very nice. I like the AABB rhyming structure that was present in the first verse, or the first part of the first verse at least. Fantasized about a life, simplified. So I just want the simple life. That to him is a paradise, but nothing good ever came easy. So to get that is difficult. Every love would leave me. Damn. No shame because I played this game and it gave me everything. Lost faith because I saved myself and I don't need anything. This is the chorus as well. That's insane. It's very crazy to me how my entire life I've kind of rap, hip hop, that stuff is for the streets, and that's where I come from. That's where I was raised. That's what raised me. So for me, listening to this music, for me to be reminded of that through this genre of music is not something that I've come across before. I'm not so sure that I like the vocal production in it, however. Like, I wonder what the artistic decision was to not allow your real voice to be heard. Like, why would you not allow your actual voice to be heard? Why would it be so vocoded? Do you know what I mean? It's almost like the protagonist, or the main vocalist, should I say, doesn't really have a lot of faith in their own vocal ability. Either that, or there is an artistic decision as to why this has been done in this way. Maybe the vocal effects have been used because that symbolizes the time that we live in now. Maybe, I don't know.
The children all escape. This is to the men wish death upon my name, tried to push me to my grave, swore I'd never fucking die. Sacrifice, sleepless nights, wasted time, a wicked fight. Time it made me heartless, it didn't leave me scarless. Oh shit! They played this game and it gave me everything. Lost me, sing myself and it don't need anything. Until my heart stops, until my heart stops beating. This is for my friends who put needles in their veins, who society erased, hope the children all escape. This is to the men who wish death upon my name, tried to push me to my grave, swore I'd never fucking die. I have spent my life chasing things that have only brought me pain. In the end, when I'm dead, hope it was for something.
Jesus! No, 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 no. Yo, the pain! The pain!
Upon my name, tried to push me to my grave, swore I'd never fucking die. I have spent my life chasing things that have only brought me pain. In the end, when I'm dead, hope it was for something.
Woohoo! On God. Brother, that might be one of the most impactful drops I've ever heard. Yo. My crock is in tatters. That might be one of the most impactful drops I've ever heard in my life. Without a doubt. I have spent my life chasing things that have only brought me pain. In the end, when I'm dead, hope it was all for something. I just did some Eminem reactions over on the Patreon. And in that, I was saying how I have such a love for people that don't mince their words. They say exactly what they mean in their music in a way that they would actually speak in real life. And that scream was different. I've never heard anything like that before, because that actually felt like pain. Like that felt painful to record, you know? That felt painful to record, like I can feel it. It sounds like it would feel painful to record that. Whereas the rest of the song, we've really heard like I would say, in my opinion, overly produced vocals. I want to hear, like, I don't care how bad you think you sound. I want to hear you. I want to hear every part of your vocals. I want to hear the inflections. I want to hear the breaks, the tears. If that's what you've put into your music, that's what I want to hear, you know? For some reason, the vocalist chose to scream at that moment in a way that I have honestly not heard before. And granted, I'm not from this genre, you know? You can probably tell in my vernacular, I'm not from this genre. This is something very, very different. That chorus is, as somebody that has lost former gang members to overdoses, it can be difficult whilst you're around those things not to be tempted into numbing yourself due to the nature of the things that you're doing or that are being done around you. You might feel like you want to calm that storm, you know. This is to the men who wish death upon my name, tried to push me to my grave. So perhaps that's people around him that didn't want the best for him. They wanted the worst for him. They wanted him to be one of those people that puts needles in their veins. One of those people that society erases. One of those people who is either the child of that cannot escape, or they will go on to have children that cannot escape. That endless cycle of addiction or abuse. And whether it's addiction or it's abuse, it's done to oneself. Do you know what I mean? Unless somebody's force feeding you drugs, and those are, few and far between cases. For the most part, it's an abuse of self, And I say this as somebody who's currently guilty of it. So this fucking song is I like this. I like this. This is healing.
Upon my name, tried to push me to my grave. Swore I'd never fucking care. I have spent my life chasing things that have only brought me pain. In the end, when I'm dead, hope it was for something. Children can escape. This is to the men who wish death upon my name. Tried to push me to my grave. Swore I'd never fucking
Nice. I like that bit of echo and reverb at the end there. Oh, I like that. I like that echo there. Bit of echo, bit of reverb. I would love it if the drums had come in that hard at a point before, right at the end. I'm sure, perhaps there is an artistic decision for that being done. There's an artistic reason as to why that decision was made. Sorry. But just sonically, I would love to hear the fullness of those drums at some point in the verses too. Brave. Oi! You can actually see as well that this is the most replayed bit, and I am not surprised. Of course, when he says, this is for the men who wish death upon my name, tried to push me to my grave, and you're seeing, a very wounded soldier. I think like maybe orphans or people that had been experimented on, or just downtrodden people. Do you know what I mean? This is for the ones who put poison in their veins, who society degrades, hope their children can escape. Because when you say put poison in their veins, they're not just talking about like needles, heroin, drugs. Also talking about the poisons, forever chemicals within the foods. Do you know what I mean? Putting poison in your veins. Ooh.
Death upon my name, tried to push me to my grave. Swore I'd never fucking care. I have spent my life chasing things that have only brought me pain. In the end, when I'm dead, hope it was for something.
Fucking hell. Woo. Okay, that's enough of that, because I might actually set fire to my own house. In the beginning of the song, it was that nothing good comes easy. You want you fantasize about a life simplified, and then I've spent my life chasing things that have only brought me pain. Now I've been chasing this simple life, and it's brought me nothing but pain. It's the chasing of something that brings one pain. you know? Because whether you get it or you don't, you won't be happy, you know? If you know that beforehand, even then it's a double-edged sword, because I'm somebody who knows that beforehand, and I struggle getting excited about certain things because I know that joy is going to end at some point. It's a double-edged sword whether you know it or you don't. Sometimes I wish, they say ignorance is bliss, and I believe that might be what they're talking about. If you just go through life completely ignorant of oppression or of systemic injustice, bankers controlling the world, governments and politics being an absolute farce, a sham, a pantomime. If you go through your whole life being completely ignorant of all that shit, you would probably live a far better, far happier life. You know? In the end, when I'm dead, hope it was all for something. Chasing things that only bring you pain. To even have a thought that could be worth something or be all for something. If you're chasing things in your life that only bring you pain, it's not going to be all for anything. It was all for nothing, you know? You went through all that pain for what? You didn't stop anybody else from going through that same pain, you know? Nothing has been learned. It's just something has been done. And things are done every day. It is of no consequence, you know? But then, you can't spend your life chasing nothing. I don't know, man. This song, for society's forgotten people, but the plot in you clearly have the capability readily to forge a song that is I think cognizant of two levels, There's the thing that it's talking about, and then there's the subtext, the undercurrent of what they're talking about, From the first song that we listened to, Silence, and this one, Forgotten, I believe that they are capable of speaking about more than one thing at the same time. And the greatest forms of art, that's what they do. They don't just tell you one thing. There's subtext. There's many ways that you can read into it, and I like that. I like the lyrics within this. I would say the vocal effects that were used, I personally wouldn't use them. If I were, managing this band, I personally wouldn't use them. I would find a way to incorporate one's natural voice at all times, Fuck auto-tune, fuck pitch correcting. Fuck reverb even, unless it's really necessary. Unless you accentuate your vowels, elongate your vowels at the end of rhyming syllables like a sleep token does, or a bad omens. They use a lot of reverb, but the ending syllable always carries, so it warrants that. However, a lot of this, it didn't. Friends, it's just zzz. It's harsh ending syllables. This is to the men. Death upon my name. It's just very harsh ending. So one's natural voice, however, that drop there, beautiful, brilliant. Like I say, it's one of the most impactful things I've heard in this genre. I hope that his voice is okay after doing that. I hope he doesn't do it live too often either, because it genuinely sounds like it hurts. And I think maybe that's the point. That's him putting himself through a considerable amount of pain in remembrance of those forgotten, That's like self-sacrifice. He's almost using his voice as a martyr for those people forgotten by society. And that is powerful. Give thanks to the plot in you. Thank you very much for this song. It is definitely going on the playlist. Not something I say often either, so very well done. Deuces.